This video will demonstrate the basic features of your IPEVO V4K document camera. Your IPEVO document camera is designed to be lightweight and mobile, so it can be used in a lot of different areas without a lot of extra setup. You'll also notice that the cable itself has a track on the back side of the arm. That cable will tuck inside that track. It's a tight fit, but just push it down inside that track and that'll hold on to the cable along with the back side of the elbow. And that just keeps the cable from going underneath your camera while in use. Next, you'll find that there's also several adjustments and pivot points on your document camera, so you can adjust it to the height and angle that you need. First of all, on the base there's a pivot, one on the elbow and one up by the wrist. And then you'll also notice that the camera head itself will also rotate. Each one of those different pivot points has a slot on the screw. That slot, again, is designed so that you don't have to go looking for a screwdriver. You can just find a simple coin, and that coin can be used to tighten up those angles. So if you have this in a spot or in a position that you really like, just use a coin to tighten those up a little bit. And again, this is plastic, so don't over tighten it, but just give it a little snug tightening, and that'll hold in place without having to worry about you losing that position. The next thing is at the top of the camera head, you'll notice that you have three different buttons. The first one is exposure, to either increase or decrease the exposure, which is the amount of brightness that you're getting on the page. So if your page looks a little dark, you might want to increase your exposure. If it's looking a little too bright, you can decrease that as well. The next thing is that when you first turn on your camera, it will automatically focus. The difference is do you want it to continue focusing, or do you just want it to be a single autofocus? Most teachers find it most helpful to have it on autofocus single. And the purpose is that every time you move your hand underneath the camera, you don't want it trying to refocus every time there's a new object underneath the camera. In other situations, if you're an art teacher or maybe a science teacher and you're showing a lot of different items underneath the camera, you may want to change that autofocus to continuous, meaning that it's always going to try and find the best focus. So that's the purpose, but in most situations, most teachers are going to have this on single. And the next thing is that if anything gets moved around and you need to refocus, just press the focus button and that will focus onto your object again. Like I mentioned earlier, the camera head itself will rotate. This can really help if you have lined paper underneath your document. Instead of trying to work with the rotation tool on the software, you can just slightly move that head a little bit to find the best angle for whatever you're trying to use your document camera with. This video demonstrated just the basics of using the IPEVO V4K document camera.